Hello and welcome to Mystic Princess. I'm here with you today to bring you a pick a card reading, and today we're going to be looking at who's going to be coming into your life. Just a couple of things to say before I start. I'm not psychic. I don't pretend to be. I'm literally here to let you and the cards do all the hard work. Take it as it resonates, take from it what you will, tell your own story. As long as what you take is positive, then it's happy days. No negative vibes here, no bad intentions. Okay, so we're doing a pick a card reading about who's coming into your life. I've got 4 piles here, each with a crystal on. So we have pile number 1 that has red jasper, pile number 2 that has an obsidian. Oh, I didn't show you the red jasper. I will show you the red jasper. Pile number 3 that has a white crystal. And pile number 4 has an amethyst. So I'm going to give you a moment to think about these piles, see what attracts you, see what you connect with, or if you just want to take a stab and pick one or pick them all, it's entirely up to you. Like I said, this is your time, your story. Take from it what you will, as long as it's good. So I'm going to give you a minute to think about those piles. And if you've had long enough, we're going to start. So we're going to start with, I'm going to move the piles out of the way, and then we're going to come back to pile number 1, red jasper. Okay? Okay. So, for those of you who picked pile number 1, red jasper, this is a reading that you may enjoy. I'm just going to tell you a story, basically, from a bunch of cards. It's as simple as that. Take from it what you will. So, let's begin. So, red jasper, if you like to see them, I'll hold it up to the light for you there. Still have a little bit of light. It's very smooth. So what I'm going to concentrate on here is I always like to say, look to the future, look for the future, look to the past. So we're going to do a past, present, future reading with an overall message about who may be coming into your life or into somebody's life. As I said, it's a story from some cards, okay? So I'll lay them all out at once because I just think it's a nicer way to tell the story. Except for the last one. I'll keep the last one. So this story is about somebody that experienced some sadness in their life. That's obvious, I know. That's quite clear to tell. A lot of the time these things are obvious if you're open to them. This might have been inner sadness, so this might have been something that they weren't that keen to express. They kept it to themselves, and as a result it may have led to some melancholia, but I want to say mild, but sadness and melancholia is never mild. But it was something that they coped with. And this was their coping mechanism, was to keep things inside, keep things to themselves, not to start lifting the lid, not to start releasing what they were feeling, because this was the best way for them to cope with what they were experiencing. But it was very emotional for them. It was something that did impact them greatly, and did cause them great sorrow, internal sorrow that they may have spent many an evening, you know, experiencing and feeling. This was somebody who had a lot of feels. It might not have been clear to the outside world, but they had a lot of feels at a certain time, about a certain point, a certain experience in their life. That period has now passed. However, things like this don't often kind of go unnoticed. They might sometimes change you in a way, or there may be some work that this person still needs to do, to come to terms with, or to release that sadness. Or they may be working on this themselves, and they've still got a little bit of a way to go through that process. So the main event has passed, and the main climax of their sadness is more in the past than it is the present. So it's either moved, or they're moving away from that period. But it's nowhere near gone. It's not in the far past. It's in the sort of near past, or it's about to become past. One of the ways they might be doing this, that they might be moving on from this, is we've got a family and tribe card here. And what we're talking about here is looking at the people around you, and the history of the history of your genealogy, if you like, or the history of your the history and traditions of your roots, the way that you grew up, the way that you were raised, the things that you learned from that maybe you're just at a point in your life now where you're starting to realise what you took from your childhood, what you took from your formative years. And it may have been things that weren't as obvious to you growing up, or they might have been, but this is more a period of revelation. So this is somebody who moved from a period of internal sadness, and I see this as being very internalised, internal sadness, to perhaps lean on and take comfort from the people around them, from their support network. But this is more about learning from their support network, observing techniques, observing the way that people relate to one another and the way that they deal with these sorts of sadnesses. This may have been involving a relationship, a romantic relationship, and looking to your parents, or perhaps an aunt, an uncle, or an older generation, and what they've been through in their relationships, how they've handled that, their values, what has been instilled in you growing up may have either influenced your decision about this relationship, which then went, you'd still experience sadness in a breakup regardless of how it kind of happened, or it may have led you, when you were moving on from that sadness, to see the wood from the trees, perhaps, in terms of who you can rely on in life, who you relate to and why, and what good relationships look like, and what good living looks like, if you like, with the right intentions. So you start to look at what you've grown up with, and start to realise those values that have been instilled into you growing up. And that's very much where, in this story, that's very much where this person is now. So they're moving, or have moved, from this period of internal sadness to a place of observation, of their people, if you like, and the people around them, and the people that they've grown with and learned from, and sort of aspired to. This is leading, this is a really nice progression here. It's a really natural sort of progression, of someone who's been through something. It's had a deep effect on them, an emotional impact. They've gone to what they know, and learnt from what they know, and learnt from good role models, to end up in a place where they can release themselves. So they can release a type of nature that you would experience when you're a child. So it's that carefree, running through dew-covered grass barefoot in a lush green field. You know, you're not conscious of the time. You don't have a watch. Someone calls you and tells you when dinner's ready, and you go and eat. It's, you know, that feeling. I'm not saying all give up your job and throw your watch away. It's more of a feeling than it is an actual. You may very well actually decide to go travelling or on some other adventure and release your inner child, but it's back to basics. It's a very pure, very innocent place, where you enjoy life for the sake of it, and you enjoy the little things. You embrace the beauty. You see the beauty in things, and you enjoy that. You revel in that, as though you've never seen it before. So you're seeing the world with fresh eyes, which, I mean, leads on beautifully from somebody who's kind of, I want to say reinvented themselves, but they haven't. They've just kind of had a reawakening. It's not even a re-education. It's an awakening, and then they're coming out of the other side. Someone who's very much, wow, you know, yeah. You know, I'm seeing everything differently now. It's like the rose-coloured glasses, but the other way around. So instead of putting them on, you're kind of taking them off, and everything's beautiful. Which is a really nice place to be, I think, to be fresh to the world like that and see things through a child's eyes with the wisdom of an adult. It is a really, really nice place to be. So as a result, we have an overall message, or an overall vibe, if you like, to this story. Spicy. So, this person is going to be met with temptations. Now, normally, if this card was to come up somewhere up here, I would be looking at this a different way. So I would be saying, you know, maybe somebody's tempted by comfort, they're tempted by convenience, they're you know, staying still because of temptation. But because I've got this in a general message, and in the picture, she doesn't... So the energy I'm getting from this today is this isn't somebody who really wants to curl up on the sofa. This isn't somebody who is happy where they are necessarily. She's not unhappy, but the way her hair... the energy I'm getting from this today is, yes, this is someone who is ready to be tempted by something. And there's a misty sort of picture of a guy in the window. So you've got somebody here first who's going to head to a place where they're ready to look at the world with fresh eyes, and then they're met with things that are going to tempt them to act. I think I'll probably just say so. They've gone out in the world, they've had a look around, and now they're given, this is more opportunities, I would say. They're given opportunities and temptations to do things. So it might be to start going somewhere that you wouldn't normally go, perhaps to visit somewhere you wouldn't go. Maybe you're going to be travelling, maybe you're going to get in an evening scene that wasn't something that you did before. Maybe you're going to start socially interacting online or something that wouldn't have been you before. Or maybe you're going to return to something. This is interesting. So what I'm feeling here a little bit is as well, maybe there will be the temptation to either give something or somebody a go from your past, that you may have overlooked previously, because they're comfortable and convenient, or to go back to somebody in the past that you don't think will hurt you, to try and avoid that feeling that you had before. Let me, I'm going to pull a couple of tarot, see if this clears this up anymore and gives us any more insight on the type of energy, the type of vibe or journey that we're looking at here. So let's have a look. Right, okay. So we've got the King of Coins. So we're looking at somebody here that's going to come into this life. So if this is resonating with you, what you might expect to see is somebody very practical, very grounded, mature in a sense, somebody who's quite quite materialistic. They're concerned with wealth and financial gains, but more so through building foundations for themselves in order to build upon an acquirement and gain. And they have gotten somewhere with this. They're established. They're not starting out. They're not somebody who's dreaming of this sort of life. They're somebody who's already put down the footings and is starting to. If you look at this guy, he's quite proud that he's not only holding a coin in his hand, but it's a coin with a diamond on it. He's brandishing it. He's very well groomed. He's very confident in himself. He's somebody that's put down the foundation, so he's put the footings down on what he wants to achieve, and he's already reaping the benefits for that. And he feels like somebody who's established in that arena. I'm not saying this is going to be somebody that's a millionaire, though they might. But I'm not saying that at all. But they're more so somebody who's established and could do that should they so wish. So they're not at a stage where they're struggling with the inception of something. That's happened. So they're past that point. And they very much have something that's set up. They have something that's established on which they can build and grow should they want to. Which this does start to clear it up for me a little bit now, because then you've got this temptation energy where, do you see here, you've got a reassuring hand on the arm. She's kind of dreaming out into the ether, but there's this hand on the arm, quite a lavish sort of Baroque sofa there. If I was to put that here, it's not going to let me pick the card up. More that way. This could be this reassuring arm. So this is somebody that doesn't really have to dream. He's done his dreaming, or actually he doesn't seem like much of a dreamer to me. He's not done any dreaming at all. What he did was sit down, plan, and then do some hard work, and got exactly what he wanted to get, which is something that's very tempting to this person. So if this is something that resonates with you, then this could be something that's a little bit exciting coming along. But what you've got, what will be coming into this life, coming into this story, is an established person in business of some description, somebody who's got direction and ambition, earth sign, earth energy, possibly Capricorn, but I don't like to go that deep really, but that's what I'm kind of getting. But it's that very that kind of cardinal energy, that direct energy, that stuck on a track. This is where they're going, and this is what they want to achieve. And some of it they have already done. They have already achieved. They're reaping the benefits, and they're offering those to you too. They're offering those benefits to this person, and this person is very tempted by that. So in this story, this is who's coming into this story. And it does look like it might be the right time for them, and that might be a successful union of sorts. I don't see a lot of romance in the dreamy way, or the traditional way, but I do see traditional values. This is a very practical union. This is a very practical. This is where you are. I can offer you this. Is this something you want? Does this solve a problem? Fill a space for you. Because I like you, I'm attracted to you, so I'm going to attract you to me, with what I can offer you, essentially. And this person is very attracted. So that's a very mutually mutually beneficial union. And I think that's something to be quite interested in. So if you picked the red jasper, and you were pile number 1, then this is the story that I'm telling to you today. So let's move on to pile number 2. So I didn't give you a look at it earlier. This is the amethyst stone. And this is reading number 2. So again, I think I'm going to lay past, present, future out first, and then we'll look at the overall message. Okay. Ooh. Okay. All right. So this again is kind of another journey of self-discovery. So this is somebody who has learnt to take off their mask, as it says there, quite literally. So this is somebody who was probably used to portraying themselves or presenting themselves in a certain sort of way, and took an active move to drop their guard, to bring down their walls, to take off their mask, to show their I want to say true self, but I struggle a little bit with that concept, because everything is true to a degree, so or not even, everything is fake to a degree, but sometimes there's many faces to a person, there's many personalities to a person, and just because you haven't seen another one before doesn't mean the one you've seen is fake. I'm not going to say true self. I'm going to say they work to release an aspect of themselves to people that hadn't necessarily seen that aspect before. And this is something that has happened, that has moved or is moving into the past, and they've actively learned to drop their guard, bring down their guard, drop their walls, take off their mask, and show another face that's behind the face that's being seen. Which is really interesting, that this is where they feel they are now. So they're struggling at the moment with their own integrity. So they're struggling about why they're doing something, and that interests me because I'm trying to pick up on this more, to I can see that these two could be related, but I'm trying to work out how. So basically, you've got somebody who's taken off a mask. So somebody who's brought one vision of themselves down to release another in the past, but now, however, is questioning their own integrity on something that they've done or are doing. So it could be, I feel like this is more work related though. So it could be somebody that's working in a way that they're not sure is really reflecting their true self, which is, I'm kind of, this is why I don't know if this person is feeling conflicted inside, because I'm certainly feeling a bit conflicted looking at this, because on the one hand, this is somebody who's, see now, I'm wondering if they're feeling a lack of integrity because they've tried to do this. They've been trying to drop their mask. They've been trying to take off their mask. And they feel that perhaps they haven't. They feel that perhaps something that they're doing, and you know, this isn't drastic. This just could be as simple as, you know, going to, say if you're on a promotional stand or something and you're talking about some car being the best car in the world, and you don't actually think that it is. There's another car you think is better, but you know, you're plastering on that smile and telling everybody how this is the only car that you'd ever drive. It could be as simple as that. But you've got somebody who has acknowledged, they've either been told or they've known and made active steps to present a different side of themselves. However, they're left in a position now where they're feeling like they're presenting a side of themselves that isn't authentic, or they're presenting something of their own, you know, their own opinion, or that, you know, they're perhaps presenting words that, as their own, that aren't sincere in what they really think or they really feel or what their own experiences are. Which is interesting now when we get to the courage stage, because I mean, you can see here already this person's quite optimistic. To a degree, it looks like someone that's saying, yes, I'm going to take off my mask. Yes, you know, this is something I'm going to give a go to. But however, this person, they're now in a position where, oh, you know, they look like they've been through the mill a little bit trying to do it. I'm not going to lie, they've been. It's not been an easy journey for them. They've been left a bit sort of windswept by the whole scenario, but still don't feel they've managed to make that transition yet. So I think it's probably a person that's going through a lot of inner development, an evolutionary phase, and they're feeling like they're bang in the middle of it right now. They felt like they wanted something to happen. They started on a journey. Now they're thinking, oh, like, is this a bit much? Can I go back? Can I go forward? I don't know. I'm right in the middle and it doesn't seem to be working. But they get to the future and the next step is courage. And if you see the energy on this person, this is completely different. So this one's hopeful, this one's a bit apprehensive about where they're going, and this one is just, right, you know, this is happening now. So this is somebody who's mustering up courage. You've got naysayers, if you like, in the background. As always, you've got your doubts, you've got your like this. So this energy is now here being pushed to the side, because this person couldn't care less about that person behind going, oh, maybe not, they're not even hearing that, You know, they're not even noticing they're there. They've got their light shining the way, and they're ready for action. So sometimes you have to kind of go through this middle stage. You might think you're ready for the journey. You might think you're kicking the doubts to one side, and it all kind of comes, you know, culminates at some point. You're feeling a bit battered and bruised, or your ego is, and you're not sure, you know, was this the right decision? Are you doing the right thing? Is this the real you, etc.? And then you kind of emerge like, yeah, I know where I'm going and what I'm doing now. I'm in the woods, in the dark, ignoring, you know, strange creatures that might be squealing at me from behind. I've got a light and I'm going to follow it, and I know where I'm going. So I'm interested to see what the overall picture is here. Yeah, wild. Okay, so similar to the inner child vibe earlier. So this person has been through a marvelous metamorphosis. It's really quite beautiful actually to see. The flow on this is so natural. Like I said, they had that inceptual moment where they decided to take the call. They accepted the call. They've gone through a journey. They've hit a point where they save the day, if you like. If this was to be the hero's journey, they show courage. They're courageous, and then they release their inner wildness. So it's a little bit like your inner child that we spoke about in the last reading, but it's not so much of the pure and innocent. So there is still a bit of that, because there's something pure and innocent about being wild. But what there more is authentic. So you're still down with nature, and this isn't wild child, bad behaviour wild. This is out in the wild, out in nature, kicking your shoes off, you know, jumping, taking that leap, to immerse yourself in life. And this is somebody who's gone through, like I said, a really interesting metamorphosis, and is approaching a really exciting climax in their life, where they're going to have a payoff. And let's see, it'll be really interesting to see what sort of person the owner of this story attracts, and what sort of person is coming into their life. If this resonates, if this resonates with you, by the way, then good for you, basically, because, you know, this is an experience. So let's have a look. Yeah, King of Swords. So we're in the realms of the intellect. So we're in here with the air signs. So this could be, it's highly likely this could be an Aquarian that's coming in. This is somebody that's already been through this sort of metamorphosis. So this is not somebody who's going to be joining you on this journey. This is someone who's already done this sort of journey in their life and has seen these sorts of journeys before. They understand them. This is somebody who's sharp and strong. So you've got sharp, strong wit here, and you've got it in maturity. So, like I said, it's not somebody who's going to be joining you on this journey, but it's somebody who understands this journey, accepts it, and will probably enjoy observing you on it, because these people, these air sign people, especially if this is an Aquarian, they love learning about people, and they love observing people. So these sorts of men, you're not going to put them off by being yourself, and you're not going to put them off by learning things and being on a journey. That sort of thing they're going to relish about you, and they're going to share their wisdom with you. This sword that he's got in his hand, like I said, it's sharp and it's strong. He's got sharp wit, so be prepared that you might be hearing frank words from a sharp tongue, but they're not meant that way. They're just meant to be honest. They're meant to be informative. They're the type. This is the type of person that's going to teach you as much as they learn from you, and that's really what they get off on. That's what they're about. So this again is a really good pairing. If you can have a look at how much he's wearing, it's somebody they are established in life. Yes, they're kind of materialistic. They're wearing a crown. You know, they're wearing loads of clothes, so you've got the comfort there and the security, but it's not really what their concern is. Their concern is with knowledge, and they'll be getting to know you. They'll learn you, and they'll teach you about yourself as well. But you're probably going to learn very little about them. But these little gusts of wind here, that shows you that you're in the lofty heights of the intellect. So if this resonates with you, then you know this is this here might not be feeling too great right now, and you might be thinking twice about your decisions, but this is a good place to be. This is leading to good times. So I'm a little bit jealous. I mean, let me pick this. I don't know what's wrong with my cards today. They won't pick up. That's somebody that's enjoying life. So let me move on to my next reading. So if you chose the white crystal, this is one of my favourite ones. Then I'm telling this story for you. Like I said, it might not be your story. I'm not a psychic. I'm not claiming to read your future. I'm just reading some cards. You and the cards are doing the hard work. Take from it what you will, as long as it's positive. Okay, so past, present, future. Okay, so straight away I can see and I can feel we're looking at somebody here who's had motivation issues. So they've come from a place in the past where perhaps concepts, I don't want to say concepts have been difficult to grasp. The card is how teachable are you? So it's how much are you willing to learn? How much do you want to learn? How much knowledge are you embracing? Bear with me one moment, I've got someone at my door. Maybe a little bit. The sorts of people that, you know, if you've had somebody say to you before, when will you ever learn? You know, do you not get it, kind of thing. So it's how teachable are you in that respect, and that's this might have just been through a youthful mind, so not young in age, but somebody who's see, I don't want to use the word naive because sometimes it has negative connotations, but I'd say hopeful. It's more kind of hopeful about the world. A bit of a dreamer, perhaps, someone who kind of drifts through life a little bit, which has got them to a position now where they're procrastinating. What's interesting about this is this healing card in the future. So I'm tempted to feel that maybe this person in this position who wasn't learning, see, I don't want to say that negatively as well, because there's many reasons why that might have happened, but there was a point in their life where they weren't learning from something they were experiencing, and I think this may have made them weary, which has led to a period of procrastination now because of this experience they had here. They're a bit more apprehensive about stepping outside of their comfort zone. or going an extra mile somewhere. They want to kind of stay closed in, because they don't want to risk whatever this kind of hopeful, naive attitude led to. But they're going to move into a period of healing, which I would hope would bring them away from this. And instead of them feeling like they had to learn or they had to close themselves off, they could feel like they could be a bit more open, with their mind and their heart again, without fear. So I think this is someone that's felt a little bit wounded. Perhaps they trusted someone or something, and they felt that trust was misplaced. I think this vibe, more so seeming to me now about the learning, is more a thought they had about themselves than what somebody else thought of them. So when I said that comment about perhaps you've heard, when will you ever learn? I don't think this was other people. I think this was them thinking, oh, I should have known better, or when will I learn? I know I can't judge something for myself. I don't trust myself to be the judge of something, so I will just close in, and not put myself in those types of environments. Which is interesting because this all looks like the same place to me. There's something about the decoration in the background and the colouring and the tone of these cards that looks like the same place, and it's all indoors as well. In this one, she's indoors in her bedroom. I think this is even a different part of that bedroom. There's a kind of mystical cat here, but then when you look in this card, when we're going into the future, and we're talking about healing, there's a sense of magic. So I think this is somebody in this period of isolation and confinement that they've perhaps thrust upon themselves, but maybe not. They've kind of learned their inner magic, their own magic, and how to treat and heal themselves, and that will lead to a period of healing. And this is something I believe they have learned from their detachment. Let's see, I'll be really interested to see what the overall message is here. Yeah. Okay. So again, it's a call to action. So I think here, this person wasn't accepting the call. Here they've decided they do need to do some work on themselves, and then here they're very much going to accept the call, and unleash their creativity. If you look at the energy in this, I mean, this could still be the same house but a different room downstairs, but it's changed drastically. It's bursting with energy and creativity, and this person is not somebody that's procrastinating. They're not somebody that's beating themselves up about lessons not learned. They're not somebody working on healing themselves. They're actually now working their magic outwardly, on creating other things. So it would be really interesting. I think I'm going to pull a tarot again to see what sort of person is coming into a life like this. Knave of Swords. Yeah. Okay. All right. So again, we're in the sharp, strong elements. We're in the air elements. But this is somebody much less established in their life. So this I think would be a really good. This could be a fire sign. I think, to me, this looks like a fire-air pairing. Maybe a Sagittarius. I don't know why I say that, but I'm getting from this, real Sagittarian sort of energy, but I don't know why. but this pairing, you've got somebody who's gone from being perhaps quite closed in, to working on themselves, and they're ready to unleash and burst forward what they have within them. And then you've got somebody else here, with a sharp tongue and a sharp mind, ready to kind of, again, this person is much more hungry for life than the other sword guy. I think it was the King of Swords that we had earlier. That guy had kind of learned it all. This guy wants to learn it all. So they're ready to kind of go on that journey. And this person wants to create it all. So these two together, you could have magic happening. These two could achieve a lot creatively, so you can really get some creative genius going on here. This is it's a dynamic sort of pairing. You're going to have sparks flying, electricity, all of that kind of sparky, you've got oxygen feeding the flames and the flames burning up, and this is a real smouldering kind of energy, and I could well see them making things together, and creating things, and you're talking a real meeting of minds as well. So you're talking about kind of putting their heads together, a bit of dreaminess. He's going to be a lot more forthright and ambitious than her, when she's quite happy tinkering away on things. But I think this is a really satisfying partnership, and I think if this story is similar to your story, then I think you've got a really good story. And I think it's time to move on to the last reading, because it's getting a little dark as well. Last pack, I was going to say fourth and final pack, but I don't think they're in the order that I set them out in to begin with. So this one is for the people that chose the obsidian, I was going to say that wrong, I'm sure, which is this stone. If this is you and you were drawn towards that pack, then this reading is for you. So once again, we're going to look at the future, so we're going to look to the past. We're going to go past, present, future. Now, already we kind of know how this is going down. So we've got somebody here who's had to go through a period of letting go of something, someone maybe, but something definitely in their life. They've clearly achieved that successfully, because they've managed to move on to a place of self-love. So you've got somebody who in the past has had something that they've struggled to let go of. If they just let go of it, then it wouldn't be, we wouldn't be talking about it now. But it's something that they had to make a conscious effort and put work into, put time into to do. This person isn't finding this easy. She's not clinging, but she's almost clinging. She's still in contact with something or somebody. This isn't somebody who's fleeing away in the other direction with her hair tousled behind her and everything else is left in the distance on the horizon. This is somebody who reluctantly knows they should move away, but isn't doing it at a swift pace. So this is something that somebody found difficult and had to put strength and courage into. But they did do it, because they're now in this glorious place. And this is a great place to be. I mean, if this is you, if this resonates with you, good for you. Because nobody can love you like you love yourself, or like you can love yourself, and in this position like you are loving yourself. And once you do that, once you truly love yourself, as nobody else can do it like you can do it, you learn what love is really like. And then you have that bar set, you have that standard set, and you know if you don't have somebody and you're on your own, you're going to be okay, because you can and you do love yourself. So that puts you in such a strong position for whoever comes into your life, because if they're not meeting your standards, you know somebody who's better, and that's you. And you're going to spend time, you know, with yourself instead. You're not going to put up with any of that nonsense because you know better now. And as you can see, we're moving to this period in the future of beauty, and that's because you're loving yourself. So you're loving yourself, and you release, and you begin to see all of the beauty in yourself. So again, you know, you're holding yourself to this standard that you know must be attained in order for you to, you know, embark on on a relationship with whoever may be coming into your life. So that bar's set pretty high, and it's set high for a reason, because you know what love's like. You've been loved by the best person who's able to do it, yourself. You've let go of things before, so you know how to do it. You know, that's not something you're scared of now. You were a bit reluctant at the time, but you did it, and you'll do it again if you have to, because you know how to love yourself, and you can see the beauty in you. And because you can see the beauty in you, everybody else can see it too. So the overall message is, keep the faith. Absolutely, have faith. Have faith in your love. Have faith in your beauty, and have faith that that's true and that's right. Let me pull a tarot to see if it tells us a little bit more about who might come into your life. Okay. So we've got a lot of air tonight, haven't we? We've got a lot of air coming into the life. So, as I said to you before, as you can see by these swirls, you're in the lofty heights of the intellect here. You're amongst people with sharp, strong wit. This person is not as established and mature as the last King of Swords, the first King of Swords, sorry, that we had. If you can see, his arms are bare. He doesn't feel like he needs to wear so much. He's not at that comfort stage in his life. But he is a little bit further down the road than the Knave we saw in the last reading. So he's not quite as hungry for the journey and for the knowledge. But he's ready to go. He knows what he can do, and he's ready to bring it if he has to. But this guy is a little bit more, he's more sure of himself. He doesn't feel like he needs to prove himself, but he's not quite at the pipe and lipper stage yet. He could still be a challenge to somebody, I think. But he's got quite a lot of artwork there on his arm, so he does like nice things. He enjoys beauty and the aesthetic. This could be quite an interesting mix. I'm not as excited about it as I was the others, but that doesn't mean, this is only the near future we're talking about who's coming into your life. I think this is more harmonious than it is fiery, but I mean, as I say, it's irrelevant really, because you've already come into your life. So you love yourself, you see the beauty in yourself, other people will see it too. He's going to see it, and if he doesn't treat you right, then he won't be able to see it anymore, because actually you treat you right. and you're going to keep the faith on that. But I think he'll be okay. I hope he'll be okay. But I'm much more excited about this relationship. I'm much more excited with the relationship that you're having with yourself right now. Because if this is you and you've been through this journey, then seriously, good for you. You know, you're a boss boy or babe, or, you know, whatever, you're a boss. So yeah, that to me is much more exciting. I mean, he's hot. You're going to have a great time with him. But actually, the big love affair here is with yourself. And that's where the big adventure is at the moment. So if I was to talk about what or who is coming into your life, I would say it's you. So, that's the end of our reading today about who is coming into your life. Hit the subscribe button for me, which is somewhere, it's down there somewhere, I think. For more readings, I'm going to be posting them regularly. If you want me to read something in particular, add it in the comments, which are down there somewhere. And, you know, as long as they're positive, I will consider all comments and try and satisfy all requests for readings. Have a great day, spread light and love, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.